Hello my friends, this is Dana of Dana Spirit Butterfly, or Dana Parker, whichever portal you're attracted to my work through. I'm here of course to deliver my monthly offering of an energy forecast, and energy forecasts of course are relevant to you if you're interested in the realm of energy. Of course we all are impacted by energy, whether you believe in this stuff or not. It's really important for us to acknowledge too that we create an image of reality in our mind that can be manipulated by a number of things. And the energetic offerings are potential, they're opportunities for you to leverage external vibration that is also inherent inside of you to awaken aspects of you to reveal more of the new earth, what we term the new earth. Now you hear me talk a lot through my videos about this idea of a new earth, same thing. We call that a medium slip up. And this means that as we start to step through our future, start to step into the new day, into the new picture, into the new reality that is your future, we have an offering, an opportunity for us to step into a new way that increases our vibration and offers new healing potential for ourselves and others, and thus the planet. And so this would be that if I have in the past had challenges with anger around particular things, then when I understand how to apply myself in new ways, the energetic offerings allow me to bed this down into the physical reality, meaning that I'm more likely to do that repetitively into the future in a way that supports me and supports my loving relationships or the development of them. And so if I don't, however, if I ignore them and I allow the energetic offerings instead to pull me into the traumatic self, into the aspect of self that believes that there's always a perpetrator, that there's always a victim, that there's always going to be someone suffering, including me, my whole life is just suffering, then I'm going to find that these energetic offerings challenge me significantly. And we like to talk a lot about decision points, and every single day you have a decision to make. You understand, you wake up in the morning and you're like, okay, do I drink tea or coffee? Do I eat a Pop-Tart, or do I actually reach for some organic fruit or some healthy muesli? What is it that I'm going to do today that's going to support my health and well-being? And indeed, we have fallen into the patterns of what it is that we've been shown from our ancestry and from that which comes before, the people that were around and living around. This is where often we will talk about the herd mentality or the collective consciousness. Sometimes there's a vibration in that aspect that repeats certain cycles that may not be suitable for you, the individual. And when it's not suitable for you, the individual, these situations can manifest into disease and illness. It can sabotage our relationships, it can sabotage our business opportunities, it can sabotage our ability to really feel a sense of worth in this community. And so moving forwards into November, we are going to continue a lot of the themes that have happened during 2019. We are at the end of the decade after all, and decades are always coloured by unique experiences. We are heading into the 2020 portal, which the 2020 portal is very much about seeing clearly that which I choose for myself, while also figuring out how to collaborate in order to see that as benefiting more than just myself. And so it's a really sweet energy, it's really beautiful, but before we get there, there needs to be a cleansing of the field. We need to let go of some of the tethered energy of the old self, of the old-fashioned programs, of the traditional way of being that may have suited our ancestors, but do not suit the current modern environment. And so on a day-to-day level, you may be struggling to get up in the morning. You may be sitting there contemplating getting a different job because the job that you're in, 9 to 5 grind, it's just not working for you. You may be sitting back and going, you know what, I'm driving a car, it's crappy, it's guzzling fuel, and I feel really bad that I'm spending all this money on petrol, and it's contributing to the carbon emissions of the planet. There's so much that you do on a daily basis that may bother you. And I use this term may bother you rather than others are bothered by it. And this is because your number one priority is to make sure that you're okay with you. And so if you have something that triggers you, if you have something in your field that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable about the world, then these energetic offerings, i.e. the planetary system alignments, the new moon, the full moon, the Mercury retrograde that's coming up, all of these things will offer you an opportunity to test where you're at with particular things that may be bothering you or may be sitting in what we call your shadow, waiting to be revealed, because deep down in your heart center, you know that they do not resonate with you and they do not resonate with the future that you wish to see for yourself. And so we're in the process of alignment, and in order to align ourselves, sometimes we need to let go of the stuff that's pulling us into different directions, the directions that no longer resonate with us. And so you'll find that this time period right now, at this time, you will find that you will have no energy for the stuff that just doesn't resonate with you anymore. And whether you're consciously aware of it or not, this is a truth for many of us on the planet. Your obligation to the planet, and thus to you and thus the planet, is to align your frequency with that which serves you. When you resonate in a space of love, kindness, compassion, and harmony, your energetic offering on the planet contributes to all mankind. You contribute to the greater picture, you contribute to the trees and to the plants and to the animal systems, you contribute to the energetic field that is the planetary expression in physical form. And so it's really important that you align yourself with what it is that you want for your heart, and for the record, for the planetary system to be in that space of loving vibration. From that perspective, October, there are a lot of offerings during October. We were in the shadow period for the Mercury retrograde that kicks off today. I'm recording this on Halloween. And so from that perspective, so many of us have had a taste already of the miscommunication and of the electronic interference that is going to happen for most of November. I witnessed, for example, the first 2 days of the shadow Mercury retrograde, the shadow period before the Mercury retrograde, to traffic incidences as I was walking down the street on 2 separate days, like in alignment with each other. And the traffic incidents were relatively minor in their impact. They only impacted the 2 cars, but they were significant enough that those people driving those 2 cars would have been dislodged from what it is that they were planning to do for that particular day. And so we've all been there where an accident has happened and it's clearly not to plan, but the universal intelligence behind that is usually about being careful as to what direction you're heading, taking care with what it is that you're putting out there as what it is that you desire for your future, because so many of us desire a future that is in direct response to that which we dislike or that which we are in disdain of, only in so much as we perceive that we have been hard done by somehow in the past, i.e. we're a victim, and when we head forwards, it better bloody be better, because if it's not, then this shit isn't worth it. And that energy is heard by the universe. The universe itself does not understand negatives and positives. It just responds to the vibration that which you are putting out. And so these types of accidents happen specifically so that you can pause for a minute, take stock and say, you know what, I've just got to be a little bit more with me, present with me, to understand what it is that's going on in my life and have a little bit more conscious awareness of what it is I want for myself. From that perspective, the only answer to that is inner work. Inner work, yes, meditation, but meditation is only the beginning. And so it is a really good time right now, between now and mid-March next year, to get in touch with the internal world that is you and start to talk your own language. November is going to offer you a lot of opportunities to be able to refine this. There's going to be a lot of relationship fallout and a lot of relationship reclaiming. Relationships of themselves, of course, are not always with external people. Sometimes your relationship with yourself is the fundamental principle relationship that you need to heal. And so the Spirit Oneness is just reminding me that usually the fractures that you have in the external world in terms of relationships are usually the fractures that you have internal with your own relationship with you. And so watch what it is that you're actually saying to other people. The majority of the things that you're saying to other people are usually a reflection of what you've been saying to yourself this whole time. Similar to where the car accident itself was just a reminder to the individuals concerned that maybe they should slow down and have a look at where they're going. the whole of November is going to be impacted by this Mercury Retrograde. Mercury Retrograde, people shudder in their boots when they hear about the term Mercury Retrograde. It basically is just talking about the planet Mercury appearing to travel backwards in reference to its relationship to where we are traveling as a planet. The consequence of that energetically, though, is that you will find that there's a possibility for a lot of miscommunication. A miscommunication can happen with just a conversation where you know what it's like when you're saying one thing and the other person is responding in a different way, clearly demonstrating that what it is that you just said they didn't actually hear. This happens quite a lot. We are in an overstimulated planet where there's so much sensory data available to us, and we, to deal with that, a lot of us build an idea of the world in our minds in order to build the illusion of safety. And when we do that, we tend to block ourselves from truly hearing that which is available. And so there's been a lot of that, and a lot of this will be shown up during November. When it is shown up, please be gentle with the experience. Just remind yourself that everything you say is a projection of what you perceive. It's rarely anything to do with the person opposite them and opposite you, and even if it is, that's their moral responsibility to work on themselves. It's not your responsibility to fix it. So focus on you, do the work internally for you, and you'll find the Mercury retrograde will be an opportunity for you to receive that which you've desired this whole time, which is that genuine, unique connection with self and soul that is reflected in the external world with your relationships that are also loving, caring, compassionate, considerate, and harmonious for you. There are a few dates that are really interesting in terms of November. Of course, Halloween being on the 31st of October means that we're just stepping now into the transition towards, so it's Beltane on the 1st of November in the Southern Hemisphere, and Beltane is considered the beginning of summer. Of course, it's not actually summer, but it is the junction between the summer solstice, which happens on the 22nd of December, and the winter solstice that we just had in August. And so it's kind of this midpoint where we realize that now is the time that we can start to harvest that which is around. November is also, of course, here in the Southern Hemisphere rose season. It's a really great time to enjoy the blooms that are around. And so too, should you enjoy the blooms that are appearing in your lives, that which you see is that which you focus on. So be open and keep your perspective wide, so that no matter what's going on with you, you can always see and hopefully take the time to smell the roses. In the Northern Hemisphere, of course, it's Samhain. And Samhain always follows Halloween. It's on the 1st of November, and it is the start of winter. So it's the end of harvest season for you. And so it's the point at which you're really starting to recognize that the external world is now darker and colder, and you become more introverted and more self-aware in the internal world. And so watch for these juxtapositions, because you'll find that in the Southern Hemisphere, your energy is going to be more expanded. You're going to be more willing to project your shit in the external world, but also to perceive the world in the external, which is great because that will be a reflection of what's going on in you internally anyway. But also it's the time where whatever it is that you're focusing on will grow exponentially. With regards to the Southern Hemisphere, it'll be the opposite. So that which you focus on will definitely grow, but anything else will drop away and die away. And that in itself is actually great, because it's preparing yourself for the next cycle of growth, which for you will happen in 2020. From that perspective, we also had the activation portal on the 11th. And the 11th of November is always a very special time. Traditionally, we use it for manifestation practices. We all do it at the same time. There's an astral alignment that aligns at that particular time period, which basically means that any work done during that period or when that portal is activated is going to be amplified, meaning that if you do a little bit of work then it'll go further. And so we are offering an online call if you'd like to join us for the 11th of the 11th. There's 2 calls, one that should benefit the Northern Hemisphere and one the Southern Hemisphere. So please do join us to maximize the manifestation potential. We're charging $11 in your local currency. So please check out our stuff if you want to know a little bit more about that. and you'll be most welcome to join us. It's just a 30-minute call, and it's enough to get you working forwards, focused on that which you want to build for yourself and that which you want to grow. This refocusing is really important, because when we don't do regular practice to refocus our intent, what you find is all of the subtle intents that sit around us, they stay in shadow and they don't become known to you, so that you can do something with the energy and reveal, release energy, so that you have more energy to populate into new fields, i.e. you can create something better that suits you better if you let go of some of the old shit, which of course we often do through moon cycles, but this activation portal is just a specific, unique point of focus, and offers us that opportunity to do that. The Mercury Retrograde, of course, starts from the 31st of October and travels till about the 20th. Yes, the 20th is when it ends, but then there's a shadow period and up until the 7th of December. So we're going to be impacted by communication difficulties. You'll find your electronics won't work sometimes. We like the spirit world really likes Mercury Retrograde, because it allows them to muck around a little bit with your electronics to assist you through synchronicity and messages. So please, whenever something doesn't go right, instead of just swearing at it and throwing your phone, take note of what just happened and put it aside and look at it when you're a little bit calmer. You'll find that there's probably an answer to something that's going on with you that you've been questioning for a while. It's the way it works, right? The full moon is mid-range, and it's a full moon in Taurus. And so from that perspective, I'm being assured that there's a lot of clearing that we've been doing through October that will come to an end mid-November. There's been a lot of relationships that have suddenly appeared and then they'll disappear, or they've suddenly appeared in one way and they'll change and they'll become something else. And that is by divine design. So just ride the planetary wave at the moment. We are shedding at the moment our attachments to this idea of being married, to this idea of having a together forever, a one and only. This idea doesn't suit the planetary system. It really has never suited Mother Earth. And so from that perspective, we honor and respect the fact that the Earth has intelligence around our reproductive cycles and the way that we work that actually exists beyond us, because you haven't been around as long as the Earth Mother. She has a lot more experience of us than you do, and indeed she's invited us down. So she knows why you're here, and she knows what you're here to clear, and she's been assuring me for quite some time that a relationship karmic baggage, it's time for us to transcend that shit, to get out of the drama triangle and to start to find a stability triangle that supports all of us and builds that community and that tribe that all of us keep craving. It's so funny, I keep seeing this purple thing behind me, and every time I see it, this is my eyes are not very clear on the right side. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but I keep seeing it like it's a glass of wine, and I'm like, why would there be a glass of wine there? I don't drink. But I feel like what they're suggesting is that, because it's red wine, is that I feel like they're talking about the covenant of blood. And so I feel like they want me to talk about what we were just talking about before, which is about the relationship karmic baggage, that we have often signed contracts to be with particular people, but those contracts themselves are no longer necessary for our future growth. And so many of us have had this feeling lately that we have a soulmate that we haven't met yet, that maybe it would never be. It's actually a part of this contractual arrangement where the contract was there once, but it doesn't serve you anymore because you've changed since you've been down here. And in fact, so many of us have changed since we've been down here in physical form, that the contracts in many ways no longer serve the universal purpose. So our universe has changed already. The new earth is already starting to reveal, and trust me, together forever is not a universal matrix structure that is supported anymore on the planetary system, because it presumes that there's a fixed point or destination that you're there to arrive at, and that is never has been true. It's not true. It's never been true. You are constantly in the now moment, whether you're 56, 25 or 72, you're constantly in the now moment. So you've always arrived, you are arrived, you're already exactly where you are. And so just before we wrap up, we also have, of course, we're transitioning Scorpio. So the Scorpion energy is very much in the sun sign for most of November, and then we're transitioning to Sagittarius. Scorpio, I don't really need to talk about Scorpio because the Mercury retrograde has already covered that in many ways, the two in tandem, just to amplify that energy. I'm also being reminded that Venus has been present quite a lot on the planet for the last 6 to 8 weeks and will continue so until mid-March. And so from that perspective, her energy is very much about that sacred feminine alignment. And so if you've got a lot of the themes coming up about early childhood, if you're a woman, I should say, and you have a lot of themes that are coming up around early childhood and your relationship with your father, this is bang on in alignment. It means that at the moment you're vibrating at a level that suits the planetary system. So keep the faith and keep moving forwards through those difficulties, because you are one with the planet Earth and she has great plans for you. From that perspective, Sagittarius in itself is very much about promises that are unbroken. Sagittarians can sometimes overpromise things that they just don't have the resources to deliver. And as a part of the clearing system, because we're still clearing until mid-March, but mostly November, December, there'll be a lot of growth potential for all of us. December is going to be an icky month for many who haven't found that alignment with heart and head yet. And if you haven't found that, you come and you book a session with me, please. I would love to show you the energy that's around you and maybe provide you with some energetic support around that. But heading forwards, it's going to be a bit of a challenge for you if you haven't got the head and heart alignment, because the environment is very much about unresolved dreams. And we all have so many dreams that we've been carrying for so long that at the moment there's often a window of opportunity open that offers you what you think is what it is that you want. And once that offers what it is that you want, you'll find that there's no matching energetic tether to the opposite, meaning that your energy as you put it out in the dream space will not return back to you the way that you intended. And so in many ways this would be the ideal relationship that you keep dreaming about and you keep putting it out there, and the universe is saying actually it's not ideal for you. You think it's ideal for you now because it's based on an idea that you built when you were 16, and honey, you're not 16 now. So there's a lot of this energy around at the moment where we are being asked to review a lot of those dream states, and in order to do that they'll offer you an opportunity, and the man or the woman might come and appear, and when they are there you realize that there's actually a whole lot of a person behind there, you know, one with thoughts and dreams of their own that might not necessarily align with that which you want. And so this is by universal intent and design. It's to show you that your dreams are worthy and that the universe is responding to you, but you don't fully know what it is that you're asking for because you haven't done enough research yet, and this is an opportunity for you to do some research as to what you actually want. And so wrapping up, we will end the month with a new moon, and the new moon will be the last new moon before at least the second to last new moon of the year, and the last new moon is actually an eclipse new moon. So this new moon will be pretty quiet, and thankfully it'll need to be, because it'll be just outside of the Mercury Retrograde, and you'll probably be a little bit you'll be craving a little bit of me time by then. So I leave you. So I was just tuning into the energy of that. I was feeling a little bit not quite fun. But I'm being reminded that the perspective is everything. And so make sure that when you're feeling a little bit heartsick, if you feel like things aren't working out for you, please write them down. Start a dialogue with your soul, sit with yourself and be quiet. Call more of your presence to you so that you can be seen more, and trust that there is a new earth coming that vibrates in alignment with that which you truly want for yourself. On that note, I send you kisses. Wish you a beautiful month of November, and please reach out if I can be of service to you. Don't forget to join us on the 11th, the activation portal, if that suits you and if you feel the call. We'll be most grateful to have you there as a willing participant to our experiment or our experience. They are of course one and the same. So from that, Dana Spirit Butterfly, if you'd like to book a session, www.dana.spiritbutterfly.com. I'd love to speak to you, hold you, read for you, energy heal you, and either way know you better just that little bit more. So please be good to yourself. I love you, Spirit loves you. Please love you. See you guys.